Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'm gonna take you through the animation APIs in Jetpack Compose. So many of you has requested me to make a video about the animations, so I'm going to show you how you can deal with the animations. And by the way, animations in Jetpack Compose are very simple. You can just integrate them with a simple composable function or a simple function, as you will see in this video. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And if you don't know, there's a very good documentation on the animations for Compose. You can find it on the Android official documentations. I will leave this in the description if you want to get back to it, and I'm gonna take this one as a reference in my video. So let's actually start with the first one, animating appearance and disappearance. And you can use this animation to show or hide some elements with a appearance animation. So let's go to Android Studio and let's implement a very simple sample here to show you how this animation or how you can use this animation. So let's start by creating a column and let's fill the max size for this column. Now here I'm going to create a button and let's say show or hide. Here let's create a state that determines if the content will be shown or hide or hidden. So here will be var is content visible by remember mutable state of. If you don't know what state is, I have a video about that, so I recommend you to watch it. But at the end, state is anything that could change in your UI. So we represent it by state. If you want to know more about states, you can of course watch my video. And yeah, you can find it in the Compose playlist. Okay, anyways, so now whenever we click on this button, we want to change this boolean to its negative value. So is content visible. And here we can have now content, any content like a box. And we only want to show it if this is true. So let's say if is content visible. We want to show a box. Let's give it a modifier here. Fill modifier.fill max width. Or no, let's actually just give it a size of 200 dB. And let's also give it a background color of red. Now we want to center this column in the horizontally, so we can say horizontal alignment center horizontally. And just to make this look cooler, let's add some space here. Let's add some spacing between the button and the content or the box. So spacer, modifier height 10 dB. Okay, let's run the app. Okay, here you go. Here's a button. Let's click on show or hide. As you can see, every time we click on it, we either show it or hide it. Now we can use the animated visibility function to animate the appearance of this box. Simply, we can just replace this if statement. So whenever you have an if statement that determines the appearance of something in your UI, that is a sign where you can use animated visibility. So simply now we can just replace this if with animated visibility. And that's it. Now let's just launch the app again and see what this will look like. Click here. As you can see, now we have animation and it looks more satisfying. Now you can adjust on this, so you can go inside the parameters or the arguments of this animated visibility function. And first of all, let's just use named arguments. So it's called visible state or visible. Visible equals to our state. And now you can say enter. And here you specify the animation or the transition. So you can say, as you can see, this is the default one. It slides from the top with fade animation. Now let's say you only want to have fade in animation or transition. I keep mixing between animation and transition. So here this is called a transition. Now exit. So when we hide it, you want to just fade out. Let's launch the app and see what we get. click here. As you can see, now we have fade in the enter and fade out in the exit. What is also cool here that you can merge between two transitions using the plus icon or the plus sign. Now, let's say you want to slide in vertically and slide out vertically. Let's see. Click here. So as you can see, this is how it looks like now. And if you want to check all the transitions that is provided by the Compose Animation APIs, you can go, let's just search that up and show you it. So Compose Transitions, like that. Transition animation. Let's see. So as you can see, these are all the transitions that you can use. Here's the enter transition, exit transition. You can merge between different transitions. So this scale in, I always use it actually. I like scale in transition. You can just play around with these and you can create very good results. Okay, let's move to the second animation we have, which is animating the content size of your content. Let's get back here. Let's delete what we have now. So I'm going to delete this and let's center this vertically now. Center or arrangement, center. Now in here, I want to have a text. And here we want to type some text. We want to make this multi-line text. So let's just go here, copy this text, paste it here, or just type any text. And let's say this text. Let's also just duplicate this one more time. So I'll create a new line. Or no, I'm gonna show you another way. We can just go here and say repeat twice. Okay, that looks very long, but anyways. So here I want to create a modifier called modifier dot. We want to add some padding to our text from its container, so we call padding. And here I'm gonna give this, let's say 5 dB, and let's also give a background of color.light gray, and let's launch the app to see that. As you can see, our text now has so many lines. What you need to do in most of the cases is to add max line here. And let's say you only want to show you want to show 2 lines. Now, whenever you click on it, you want to expand this view to show the other lines. And that is considered as content size changing. Now let's just launch the app again. And as you can see, we only show 2 lines. And let's just do that. Let's create, or let's make a clickable modifier here. And here we can create a state, number of lines by remember, mutable state of, and by default we want to have 2 lines, so we pass that number of lines. Now here we want to say or no, actually I thought of a better solution. Let's make this a boolean. So is all text visible by remember, mutable state of, let's make this false. Now in here we check if is all text visible. We wanna show all the lines, so we can say int.max value. We don't know how many lines we have, so we just pass the maximum integer value, else we only want to show 2 lines. Now in this clickable modifier we can say is all text visible equals to its negative value. And let's run the app. And let's click here. As you can see, now whenever you have something like this, you can use AnimatedContent modifier to animate the changing in your size, in your content size. And this is very easy in Compose. All you need to do is just to add animate content size, and that's it. Now if you launch your app, you would have some nice animation when you click on your text. As you can see, now it looks very cool. You can of course adjust on the animation. So let's get here and let's see. So animation spec, in here you define your animation settings. Now it's set to spring. In Compose we have spring and tween. So spring, it acts like a spring. Tween, it acts, I don't know how to describe a tween, but let's actually see it. So now you saw spring. As you can see, it just acts like spring. Now we can just say animation spec. Let's change this to tween. And here inside this tween function, you can now describe some values. So you can say duration in millis. So let's pass 1000. So it will take 1000 or 1 second to apply the animation. Let's use named arguments. Let's pass 1000. That might be a big value, but I just want you to see it. Delay in millis, if you want to delay your animation, we're not going to do that. Easing. So here it describes how the tween looks like how the tween should behave. So if you pass linear, that means the velocity of your animation will be the same from the start to the end of the animation. Let's see that. As you can see, because we have 1000 here, maybe if we can make it 200, it will look cooler. Let's see. So here you go. You can also try spring, or you can just play around with the easing. So spring is the default one here. And now we want to define different values. So damping ratio here, let's see that. And to show the differences here between these kind of ratios we have for the spring animation, as you can see, Android team has attached this a nice video. As you can see, these are the different values and this is what each one means. So I think we can use the first one, damping ratio no bouncy or low bouncy. Let's try that. Low bouncy. Yeah, let's go with that. So here we can say spring dot damping ratio low bouncy here. Here we want to define the stiffness. Again, there's another video that describes what the stiffness is and what it looks like for each value they have. So as you can see, let's go with medium low. So stiffness spring dot medium low. And for the other one, I'm not sure what that is, to be honest, but that's all you need to give for this one. Let's see. Click here, and yeah, so as you can see, it just acts like a real spring. Okay, going to the next animation we have is animating between different composables. So if you have a composable that changes due to another state, you can use AnimatedContent to animate that. Let's see. So let's here create a counter. So let's say count by remember mutable state of, give this 0. Now mutable integer state of, this is the new one. Now here we can say button or button. On a click, we will increase that by 1, count plus plus, and here we can say text add. Now here let's place a text that say count, and we pass our count. Let's run that, and let's click add. As you can see, every time we change this composable due to the changing in this state. Now what we can do is to animate the new content, because every time we change this count, a recomposition happen at least on this text composable, and it refreshes or it re-render this one on the screen. So we can actually make this looks nicer by using AnimatedContent. Here you pass the state that changes, which is the count, and here you get the state in here. So I don't know, let's just keep it, and we paste this in here. Now we can pass it. So it here is a reference to our count. Now this complains because we want to pass something called label. So the label here is just a string that describes why you use this animation. You can keep it empty, it's not important. Let's launch the app again to see what's the difference now. Click on add. As you can see, there is an animation now for everything that inside this animated content and uses this state. Now you can of course adjust on this, so you can say transition is pick. So you can say, for example, fade in, and here you also need to specify the exit, so you can say width this time, and here we can say fade out. We get a warning here, we need to add this experimental annotation, and for some reason this is deprecated, replaced with the gather with. Okay, no problem, let's replace it with this, and now it will apply these transitions. Okay, so now let's move to the next animation we have, which is animated single value. So that is animate star as a state. So with this type of animation, you can basically animate any value you want. You can animate integers, floats, dB, colors, and all of these. Let's take a look on how to implement that in Android. So in here, let's actually have a box, and let's apply a modifier. Let's give this size of 100 dB, and then I want to just clip this to make it as a circle. So circle shape, and then I want to add a background color on this, make this red. Now what I want to do is to have a clickable modifier, and whenever we click on this box we want to increase its size. So let's do that. Let's see how we can do that. So the way how we can basically increase this box size is to add the scale modifier, and here you pass the amount of scaling you want. So let's actually have a state for that, because we want to change it every time we click on a click, because we want to change it every time we click on the box. So in here we can say var scale, and we just make a normal state, mutable state of, first let's just pass 1f, that means it will take just 100 dB. We pass that scale in here. Now we just want to say scale plus equal, we want to increase that by 0.1f. Okay, now let's launch the app to see what result we get. Okay, nothing is working here. I guess it's because of the modifier ordering. I think we just want to change the location of this scale modifier, maybe after this size modifier. So let's just put it in here and pass our scale. Let's try now. Okay, and yeah, here you go. So as you can see, each time we click on the circle, we just increase its size. Now we can animate the scale value using the animate float as a state. So let me just show you how we can do that. So in here we can say var animated scale, and here we can say by animate. As you can see, there is animate dB as a state, there is animate float as a state, which is the one we're gonna choose. There is animate color as a state, animate integer as a state, int offset, int size, offset as a state, rect. So as you can see, you have all of these different functions to animate a value. Now the one we want here is to animate our float scale. So the target value here will be the scale, and label here would be, just leave it empty. You might wondering why just we say var and then say animate scale plus animated this. You might wondering why don't we do this. As you can see, we get a warning and that says this animation can't be changed. So to work around this, we can have another state here called scale and just pass it here. Now let's just change this back to val. Let's just run the app and see the difference. Still not, of course, because we did not pass the animate animated scale in here. Now let's try again. And as you can see, there is an animation here. As you could see, each time you click on it, you will get that animation. And you can of course play with the animation spec. So you can say animation spec, and here you can pass tween or spring as I showed you previously. So you can say tween, all of these arguments that you can change. But whatever, let's just use the default one. And now I'm gonna also show you how to animate the color of this. So let's say var animated color by animate color as a state. So in here again, we just wanna create, or let's make this val, and we wanna create our color. So var color by remember mutable state of initially, let's give it red, and here we wanna pass our color. For the label, let's just make it empty string. So instead of this color red, now we can pass our animated color. And each time we click on the box, we want to generate a random color and assign it to this color. So let's say color equals to color. So we can use this this constructor here, red. Let's just pass red. That would be random dot next integer, and the maximum value would be 255. I'll copy this and just paste it for green and blue. So green and blue like this. So at the end, this will just generate a random color. Now let's launch the app. So each time we click, we should get, as you can see, animated color and animated size at the same time. This looks pretty cool. Now the next animation I want to show you is this one, Animatable. And yeah, it kind of works like this one. So if you could, so instead of having two states or two variables to animate your scale, you can just delete this one here. And in here you can say remember Animatable. And in here, or let me just show you one thing, Animatable. So as you can see, you have two different classes. Now you want to make sure to import this one, the one that comes from compose.core, and it receives a float in its constructor. So let's choose that, and for the initial scale, let's pass 1f. And this complains because of this by. We need to remove it and add equal. Now we can just make this a var, and here we can just pass this scale. So now how do we animate this? Well, basically, let's say scaled value. Well, basically we need a QWERTY scope, because whenever we use this API here, we need to just use its functions inside a QWERTY scope. So here let's obtain one using, let's call this scope, remember QWERTY scope. Here we can launch it in here, scope.launch. And not like that, but like that. Okay, now we can say scale.animate to target value would be the current scale value plus 1 or plus 0.1. So let's try that out. Let's click here. As you can see, so we animate it without needing two variables. Now you might wondering, why do we need to use this if we have just a mutable, or if you have animate, float as a state, and all of these functions? Well, the reason is because you can just use coroutines to animate values together. So let's say you want to animate this, so you launch it inside scope here, and you have another you have another value, for example the alpha value, and you want to animate it corresponding with this animation. So you would just say launch, and here you would just have something like alpha, and here you could say the initial alpha is 1, and here you can say alpha.animate to. So let's just give it, for example, alpha minus, or alpha, let's give it like alpha dot value, we subtract that by 0.1f. And now we can of course apply that on here. So we can say copy alpha equals to alpha. So that will make sure now dot value, of course. So now this will make sure to animate both of these values together because we're launching each one of them inside the coordinate scope. So let's see. Let's click on here. So as you can see, so the alpha value here changes and we get a crash because we reached to 0 or negative. So that's why, of course, if you wanna work on that, you can make checks or so, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, let's see the last one we have here, which is Animate InfiniteTransistion. So basically, you can run your animations infinitely. Let's see that. So here, let's remove all of this, and let's remove this as well, this, and here let's say you want to just keep animating your box. So we'll say val infinite transition. Remember, infinite transition. So that's what it's called. In here, I think we need to pass the label, yes. So let's place it as an empty string. And what you can do now is, let's say you want to just keep animating the background color. So you can say var bag, or let's just name this color equals infinite transition dot animate color. You can also animate float or any value. So as you can see, just takes a generic of any value. So let's say we want to just animate the color. So initial value red, target value, let's say we want to go to green, and animation spec, let's just pass tween here. Or no, you can't pass tween. There is a specific animation spec which is called infinite repeatable, this one. So this will make sure to just replay your animation. So here now you can pass tween for the animation. So you can pass tween or spring, as you know. So tween, or you can pass spring. It seems like no, we only can pass tween for this. So whatever, let's just pass tween. You can just adjust on here. And what is more interesting now is the repeat mode. So repeat restart means that we start from red, then it animates to green. Once it finishes its animation to green, it will go back to red without animation. Now reverse means that we start from red, we animate to green, then from green we animate to red. So it's in reverse. And I want to choose that in reverse. Now that is it. Now we want to just pass a label here. So let's pass that empty string. And let's delete this var from here. Now we can just say background and we pass our color. Let's delete this. I think we need to call value on that. Yes. Let's play it and see our animation. So as you can see, it's playing forever from green to red, from red to green. Okay, maybe we can just make this 1000 and fill the max size. This will make it look cool. So let's see. We have, okay, we wanna clip this. And here it goes. As you can see, this is what it looks like. And if you're wondering what the restart looks like, so let's try it. Here's the restart. As I told you, it starts from red, goes to green, and restarts from red like that. Okay, so that was all for this video. I hope you liked it. In this video, I just covered everything you want to know about Jetpack Compose animation. You can of course create some really good UI with these APIs because they are very easy to use, and yeah, you can just integrate them within seconds in your app. So again, thank you for watching. If you want to join my Discord community, you can find the link in the first line of this video's description. I hope you have a great day and catch you in the next video.